Good afternoon. I would like to call this meeting to order. This is the City of Laredo Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Today's date is Wednesday, November 17, 2021. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll now call the roll call. Mr. Alfonso Poncho Ruiz.
Present.
Mr. Sergio Chavez Jr.
Present.
Mr. Victor Vasquez III, myself, present. Ms. Olga Gentry, not present at the time the roll call has been called. Mr. Rafael Martinez, absent. Not. Mr. Alfonso Santos. Mr. Laurel.
Present.
Mr. Roberto Ortiz.
Present.
And Mr. Rudy Morales.
Present. I don't want to give you my back. I'll move over here.
We have a quorum. Bullet point 4, I'd like to approval of the minutes for the meeting of August 11, 2021. The minutes have been provided to you. We'd like to review. And I call for a motion. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Okay, I make the motion. You said August?
Yes, the last meeting that we had was August 11,
Yeah, because when we had the
2021.
last meeting, we didn't have a quorum.
Yes, the last meeting that we did have a quorum. So
Yeah, motion approved.
Second.
there's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries. Okay, we have anyone signed up for public comments, citizens interested in providing comments on a particular issue, but we have no one that signed up for any public comments regarding any matter, right? So, communications, and number 1, we have a status on the recreation center's opening, and that be handled by Ms. Stanley? Hey, Ms. Stanley.
Thank you. Good evening. We'd like to discuss the recreation centers opening up. We were given directive to open up the centers phase at a time, so we started with our senior facilities. We opened up La Driera Recreation Center, Fasken Recreation Center, Hillside, and then for our seniors, it's been a slow turn, but you know, the word is picking up, and so we started getting a little bit more visibility. So we were then given word as the health authority felt it was safe enough to move forward and open our recreation centers to everybody age 6 and up. And so on the 15th of November, this is exactly what we're going to be doing. We will be opening up Cigarroa Recreation Center, Margarito Benavides. Cigarroa is the one in Zacatecas, South Laredo. Margarito Benavides is on the corner of Tilden and Lyon. Marcos Aranda Rec Center is on Santa Maria. Hillside is on McPherson. Fasken is on Cerralvo, Mines Road. And the then Rec Center is on Loma Vista, South Laredo. And our newest fitness center is North Central Park Fitness Center. It was a racquetball court that's been converted into a mini fitness center, 2-story. Very proud of that little gem. It's, the councilman felt that it was an opportunity to provide the public a place to go and work out. It's got a swimming pool, lap swimming pool, state-of-the-art pool complex there, and so the community had been asking for some type of recreation facility out there in Peru, and so this was the councilman's call to that
This
answer
a
to that
heated
call.
pool and stuff?
It is a heated pool.
Wow, nice.
Yes,
Very
and
nice.
so, yeah, so now you've got a center, the fitness center that overlooks the pool. So that's a beautiful view. You know, there's some cardio upstairs and there's something similar to the mirror. It's called the Echelon, and so people can work out and, yeah, it's a nice little
Very
center.
nice.
So on the 15th, we will have our recreation centers opening, so I wanted to report on that.
Is there any questions or in regards to the opening of the recreation centers? Okay, thank you, Ms. Stanley, for that presentation. Moving on to bullet point 6, action items. Number 1, schedule a parks tour with committee members. I know that this is, we've addressed this before without coming to a actual set date for us to move forward on it. Of course, now that we have a full board now and many new faces in regards to, since we've familiarized or met at parks before. So we were gonna discuss it in a chain email to see the availability of everyone. Maybe we wanna do it on a specific day. I know that, you know, December is coming up and next, you know, it's already Thanksgiving in December. I know that everybody chooses to probably be out either in December or anything. I don't know what would work best for everyone. If it's best, maybe next year. But if it's something that you all have, and it would probably be best, as Coach had recommended, something early on a Saturday morning, maybe for a couple of hours, you know, from 8 a.m. to 12 or something. And he said that he was gonna grill steaks and all.
Sorry, this is for,
This is for our parks tour.
we're gonna for hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Había dicho que se eran con ribeyes.
But now,
8 de la mañana. Para la mediodía, brother. Para la mediodía.
but now,
There you go.
I'm good on any Saturday, man. I mean, December 4th, you know,
If
early
I'm
in the
out of
the
town, I'm
month.
out of town that weekend, sorry. But I mean, I don't have to.
The 11th, I mean, I don't,
so if it's best, I mean, send recommendations on what you say. I honestly, I'll speak for myself, I don't have any particular out of town plans for December. So, you know, if I'm here, I commit to going. And I'd be flexible with any of the dates that you all would suggest as well. And then also we need to coordinate with the parks team, of course.
Why don't we check what dates are available with them
Yeah.
first and then see what,
Yeah, because all the lightings and all that stuff, is that done on Saturdays or?
Let's do it on that day.
It's just right after lighting.
The tree lighting, you mean?
Yeah.
One
Let's see
night
how the
with-
council members react.
So, we could start a communication and then to see, or, you know, us that work here today, I mean, we have that benefit of, we send 3 dates, work here today, so I think that we make the time and effort on being present. So submit or suggest 2 or 3 dates, and then we put them out, and if the other members that are not present can join us, and if they can't, well, you know.
I was gonna say, let's say we schedule it, it'll be like the park in a certain area of town, because I know we're not gonna cover all the parks in one day.
Correct. So the plan was the important stuff with the trails, to familiarize at least with trails. Yeah, there's a lot of pocket parks. I don't think we'll hit those. But at least the important trails, the Independence Hills, maybe the Slaughter Parks, to see the amenities. The rec centers or how they're, you know, functioning or anything like that. I mean, I leave it up to the staff to kind of what is it that we should see, or that.
how far along is
What's
the
recommended?
volleyball, or the tennis courts? Are they-
Tennis courts, February 22nd. There
It's not
is,
really a park though, but,
no,
yeah.
but there is an extension being requested,
Oh.
so that was the original. We'd like to go visit at least a regional park. Every district has a park of notoriety, you know, it's your most popular park. You know, District 6, North Central, Independence Park in the South Laredo, Bartlett, or You know, so every park has something, and I think it's important. But
Just,
there's
I guess we can concentrate on those.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because a lot of people, you know, if you don't travel to South Laredo, you're not gonna have, you will not have seen, you know, you may not have seen Slaughter Park. And so that is a gem. If you don't know it's there, you walk through that trail, it's, you know,
Quite nice.
it's really
You don't
nice,
have
you
to
know,
go
and
there.
so it's got crushed granite on the floor basin, so
The thing is,
it's a beautiful park. And so, like I
It
said,
is very good.
right? And then Independence, the trail,
Oh.
crossing going under.
it's beautiful there.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, I didn't know how many parks we had till I became a park member, but, I mean, in South Laredo by the college and all that, I mean, they got parks all over the place.
So I think it'd be important to see something, first of all, in every district, your major, and your trail systems, and just become aware a little bit of, not what only is in your district, but in other districts as well.
Yeah, I would prefer to see something that's not in my district. That I know what's in my district. I would prefer to see something on the opposite side of town.
Absolutely. And that's what we'd like to provide, a little bit
So,
variety.
so we taken, action on this. I'll open up the floor for dates, maybe 2 or 3 dates, 2 dates preferably, that you all wanna suggest that we could do this.
What are we looking for, like, December or in January?
Whenever it works out for us.
Whenever, I mean, unless you wanna do one in December, one in January, and then split the teams, or, let me split the board, or, if everyone can attend on just one day, then we do it like that.
Just say cut it
Which would
in
be
2?
easier.
And one day do the north side, and then the other day do the south side. How does that, I mean,
And do
Just
it
a
in a
suggestion.
ceremony.
Yeah,
huh?
We'll get 2 city
An idea.
vehicles or something.
Yeah,
El Metro? Circulator?
Oh, yeah. I
like
mean,
a
I don't know,
little,
we'll get there
like a
and.
little shuttle maybe, I don't know.
How long?
Oh, let's get the trolley, the Christmas songs. The little trolley.
We do it in December.
So,
Tenés un-
so for December, and, I mean, I know the staff is very busy throughout December, but, I mean,
I would say we do it past December because the staff's gonna be extremely busy.
yeah,
yeah, because the thing with December, you know, we might plan, but something might come up in
exactly,
Christmas
yeah.
No, y
holidays.
también la gente, I mean, the workers, man,
Yeah,
be,
not only that, but the suggestion of it having to be on a Saturday, which is easy for us, but then also having the staff there, so that's something. for
How
us to
many
consider.
district events are planned for Christmas?
5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'd say we do.
Christmas events, 5.
No, they're gonna be, you guys are gonna be fine.
So, let's suggest 2.
So February then? No.
yeah, we're going 4 months
Before
over.
WBC.
March?
So let's do 2 dates in January. The first and, no, it's good.
Yeah, sure. The 8th and the 15th?
How many takers?
Nobody shows up.
Right?
Yeah, I
The
think
8th and then the 15th,
8th and 15th.
back to back.
Mhm.
But we'll do like, north on the 8th and then the 15th we'll do south.
And we're open to a plan, whether you have like, oh, that we can cover this area in one, that we can cover the whole city in one day, which is the 8 to 12 or
So-
something.
You
No,
don't
that's
mind
not gonna
meeting
be.
on the
Okay.
12th and then on the 15th
Okay.
again?
Yeah, that's.
Because it's the second Wednesday of the month. Or you don't want to have a meeting in January?
No, I'm,
No,
good. I'm good. I mean, if I'm available, I'm here. I'll make
Yeah.
it. I don't mind.
Yeah, because we,
But this would be an addition to.
because honestly, we might not meet next month.
2 times? I mean, I don't know.
That's a drive.
We might not meet next month, so, the January one would maybe substitute for it. Not that I don't want to, but we might not.
December is
Yeah, we
not
technically,
a
we really don't meet.
weekend.
So
Chingue,
cancel
no.
the tamales.
So, tamales no va a haber entonces.
We can send them.
In order to pick up, or no?
Turkey, no tamales.
Ya, claro.
Se nos castigaron este año.
De Guatemala a Guatepeor.
Or fine, we'll meet.
We'll still be here.
So 2 dates in January, which is easier, and that's, you're all okay with that, the 8th and the 15th?
Checking con los, check with, I guess, guys también from, they have something big, or an event coming up or whatever, and they're gonna be tied up there for a while,
We'll leave it up to staff, Ms. Stanley.
Okay.
So you all can send to us just suggestions in January, if you feel that, you know, that,
But looking at
yeah,
those two
the
dates.
22, or the 15 and 22nd, or the 22nd and 29th. So we'll open to suggestions, and then that way we leave the rest of the board to also just chime in and say, hey, we're, this day, we'll be there.
Excellent. And we'll provide, when we get closer to that, a list of proposed sites. And then you all can chime in with, I'd really like to also visit this one. So that's also flexible. So,
Sounds good.
very good.
So we're gonna leave it up to the staff, right?
Yes, so there's this requires an action. So is there a motion for a date in January? I mean, I can make that motion, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to suggest that, or to ask staff for availability in January for the parks tour for board members.
Okay.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries.
Can you repeat it, please?
The motion was to
For availability of dates.
updates in January for the parks tour. For board members. And bullet point number 7, we have staff reports. We'll start number 1, the holiday events as they relate to the Parks Department. And that'll be a presentation by.
We're gonna show you just a brief video that shows a listing of all the Christmas. This is specifically
So it's a
Christmas
movie.
tree lighting. Right? It's gonna be cool,
Christmas
though.
story. It's a Christmas
All right, it's Christmas.
Yes.
We're gonna get an email for this?
Yes.
For like, what we get to talk about?
Yes. Gloria will be sending notifications on all our events so that you all are aware of all the Christmas. Okay, as you can see, we try to make sure that we cover an event, every council district. District 1 has an event. Not all the parks that we're decorating are requesting events. So District 1 at Independence, we are gonna do an event on December 2nd. Tree lighting, drive-through, a tunnel, light decoration. It's got a trail down below with another tunnel walk-through along the trail. It's a beautiful area. District 3 has Canseco House, indoor and outside. He would like an event there on December 4th. It's still pending, as well as Slaughter Park is pending. He is gonna have it decorated, not sure if he's gonna have an event right now. District 4, we've got Arturo Benavides, which was the former Eastwoods across, off of Clark. No date, he does want an event, he doesn't have a date provided yet. Jovita Hidad, which is former Bartlett Park, will have an event, it will be on the 14th. And this is still pending simply because also in District 5, he is asking for Unitrade Stadium, an event there. It is a weekend event, so it will be Saturday and Sunday on the 11th and 12th and the 18th and 19th. With train rides, vendors, Santa Claus, sleigh ride. District 6, North Central Park, you will have an event there, Christmas tree lighting, sleigh rides, pictures, train rides, other activities out there. We are going to do a full decoration of that area. Baskin Rec Center, we are going to be decorating the rec center, and she would like an event there, Posada, on the 10th of December. St. Peter's, Councilwoman Ciaroa is asking that we decorate the downtown area, the plazas, and those are gonna be St. Peter's, Jarvis, and San Agustin. She is going to ask for an event downtown, and it will be at Jarvis Plaza. And so,
St.
I'm
Peter's?
sorry, St. Peter's Plaza. We have 2 dates. This is the one that they're gonna ask for an event for. They were kind of bouncing this idea around to try to also do it at Jarvis. But St. Peter's is where she wants the sleigh ride, farmer's market, activities, vendors.
Was that, I know that the plazas belong to parks, for at least on the maintenance side, right? But had they been decorated before?
Not to this level, we put lights up there before, and we've had a couple of candy canes in the past, but she's really asking that, she's very passionate about her downtown area, and she really wants to see a lot of illumination, lights, Christmas
How about parking?
spirit. Off-street parking, there are some parking lots downtown that are also available, but we've done events there before, and a lot of people, it's off-street.
And people walk from the neighborhood. too.
Yeah, the St. Peter's,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So that should be nice. Okay, so these are our Christmas events so that you all can get a feeling of what our Parks Department and your council is doing for the community for Christmas.
I got a quick question. I know that you're talking Jarvis, St. Peter's, San Agustin. How about Rooney Plaza? I mean, just to decorate for Christmas.
That's a great idea. It's definitely a great idea. And I think what we're trying to do is create a little bit of Christmas in every district. As was mentioned earlier.
You're gonna finish all the lights in that district?
There's 100 parks.
As you're going downtown, you see Rooney Plaza, the first one you see.
Yeah.
And if they turn on their fountains with the lights.
We can look into that because there is a fountain
Where
already
the
there,
libraries
and we can
the-
see if we can't
the
change the
small
color. What was that?
Under Mr.
No, I was
Morales.
asking where,
Where Rooney Plaza.
is where the,
Right.
The old library.
There was nothing scheduled for District 2, correct?
That's what we're.
Correct.
The old library.
It's in the works, or it's just not something that's...
It's not something that we have on, they advise us that this is what they're thinking, and so they touch base with their assistants, touch base with us, and let us know our council is asking that we do. And at this point in time, we don't have something yet.
Using in the thought of South Library, right? I think that's what he wanted.
That's what I
It was a
heard.
thought, but he didn't confirm. Maybe at the library.
At the library. So, we're still waiting. But, so these are our Christmas events, and Mr. Eddie Mian, who is our Public Information Officer, would like to touch base with you on other events that we're planning on doing, that we've got slated for the holidays.
At what point does Parks and Rec tell City Council that a whole new department needs to be created for all these events?
I don't know. Apparently, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but
Because I'm sure
we
you
are.
guys are strained.
It is, and so it's important to understand that when we decorate, we've got 200, currently we've got 206 employees in the department. Those 206 employees are running the rec centers, the swimming pools, and maintaining the parks. When we've got events like this, they're also decorating the parks and putting on events. So, I mean, it's the same pool.
So who decorates like downtown?
Our park staff,
That's, yeah.
I mean the streets and all that.
our
Traffic, the
The
traffic.
traffic will, on the posts, the traffic
Oh, yeah.
department helps.
And the plazas is the
The
parks.
parks, correct. But I appreciate the concern. Thank you for the
So I know
comment.
I walked in late, but kind of along the lines, I was going to ask, so you have enough staff and enough supplies to do this? Like, these are parks that have never been decorated before. Do you have to go out and buy more lights?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's your budget or it's councilperson's budget?
The way it works is council has participated with their city promotion account, and they've given us funds to be able to purchase the additional lights.
But not additional staff to go decorate?
Correct, because the decoration is during this time. So if you add an additional FTE, if they're created specifically for decorating,
You'll lose them at some point.
exactly, yeah.
And they do it within the regular day, overtime, weekends?
We kind of are modest with our overtime, so we do half and half, and our director has designated that a lot of our events, especially when we work evenings and weekends, that it be created and given to staff as half part-time, half comp time and half overtime. So staff does get compensation for doing this, and it's not mandatory, you know. We put the word out there for staff, we've got to decorate, and so are you available? Let us know, and then we schedule them to be out there. So after hours and weekends, it's absolutely not mandatory. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Blanc, go ahead.
Good evening. During the COVID pandemic time, we brought out this bike rental throughout our parks, well, in certain parks. And basically this was, at that time, the only activity that we had. Everything was closed, staff was still around, and some staff was used to man these locations for free bike rental to keep people active, at least during the times on their bikes. We provided the bikes, we provide their helmets, and it's free. All we ask is for a photo ID. And kids who are under the age of 18 will have to have a parent accompanying them and have a sign a waiver. And so we've been doing this, it's been successful. A lot of people still come around to this time. As we started opening up rec centers, and little by little staff was starting to move around, so we struggled a little bit, but luckily we were able to bring in some new folks, and so we're still doing our things with our bike rentals. The only thing is that the hours tend to, we have to juggle them a lot because of staff and moving them around. And so this right now, what you see right here, the hours in the parks, locations, that's probably going to change by next week. It's only because, there's always, like you say, emergencies sometimes where we need more staff to be pushed to somewhere else because we need lighting needs to be set up, or whatever the reason. But we always try to maintain at least mornings for some of our locations, and it's been pretty good. A lot of people still come. A lot of people, the schools, the colleges, come and take advantage of the bike. And so this is what we have right now. They use the trails and the locations, and it's free bike rental. If anybody wants to, I guess, they can come to any of our locations. We're right now Monday through Friday. Some locations are just in the morning. North Central Park, which is really popular, we have it at 7 in the morning, and then we have it at, again, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 6. Although locations vary because they're open. The bikes are available during rec center hours, but we have staff there. And we have this program, we do it on Saturdays also at North Central, Bartlett Park, which is a Jovita, Independence Hills, and Faskin Rec Center.
For North Central Park, that doesn't include the trails, right?
North Central Park, yeah, they're right there. North Central Park is right by the pool.
No. My question is, it doesn't count, that bike rental is not for the trails, the Shiloh trails.
Oh, not the Shiloh trails,
Right.
no, they're for the park area trails in there.
There's,
The Shiloh trails are a little bit more advanced bikers. If they have a chance to go out there. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to go to Shiloh trails, you won't. It's a beautiful place.
Is something happening in the Shiloh trails? Are they doing something soon?
Is there like an entrance sign right in the entrances of, yes, they're doing a metal entrance sign, sorry.
Amenities,
Oh, what?
There are amenities they're adding to the park itself.
There's always,
Bike fixing
Chris is in charge of some of the projects in that area, so she always fills me in. And
Any damage to the bikes, stuff like that, any vandalism?
no, not anything too severe. There has been bikes showing up late. Some riders have gone out of their, some kid went, I think he went and took a ride to his girlfriend's house and went somewhere.
But you brought it back.
But he brought it back, he brought it
No
back.
problem.
So vandalism to the bikes, no. So,
It's a
But
raid
yeah,
right there.
I know, but everybody's doing all right.
That's good. That's good to hear.
And this is a program that's gonna be continuing through the next year. Is that something that the parks?
we are gonna continue it, we're modifying it, and that's because, when we were not, opening the rec centers, the staff, you know, we got creative in creating new programming and different ways to use staff to better the department. And, this was one of the programs that we came up with.
I know that the staff from aquatics was helping out at one point with the.
Yep, with the beautification, with, you know, so this was one of the programs that we.
How about,
Wait, but they're tearing down the trails for the Springfield extension. Parts of it, right?
And he's talking about the Shiloh.
Yes,
I'm talking about
you're
that.
talking about, which was the ribbon cutting this morning.
And that's something that we had talked about when we visited, both Mr. Laurel and I went out there and we visited the Shiloh bike trails earlier this year. And that was something that we had talked about that said, once they continue with the Springfield extension, it's gonna run through the Shiloh bike trails.
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't it run only through the west side of it?
No, part
Right.
And that's phase one already, starting on phase one, or is that the event? Because I think it's been divided into 3 phases.
Smaller, huh? But that's really low.
any
I don't know
bicycle?
why they would go, I mean, instead of, the water,
Not yet,
there has
but
to be a bridge there or something, no?
we have
No water
added,
crossing, no water.
Back to water,
for people with disabilities, where they sit down and just pedal with the bike.
Then I have to
We
go
just
under
bought
it.
those bikes, so we're putting them together right now. And
Careful what you ask for.
any other questions?
Not on the bike rentals.
Okay.
Not right now, yeah.
And something that's coming up, so we just want to give you an FYI, save the date, March 13, 2022. It's Streets of Laredo half marathon, 5K, and 2-team relay. And basically, downtown area, more or less.
Yes, this is the second year we've done it. It was very successful the first time we did it. We want to get to a point where a runner can be qualified here. So in order for us to be able to certify a full marathon, we have to do 2 half marathons. So this is our second half marathon. The first one was very successful, running down the streets, through the streets of Laredo.
So the next one will be a full?
This is the second half. We had to put off last year's. So this was this is the second half, and then the following race will be a full marathon. So we're excited about that.
So that's save the date, FYI, for what's coming up in March. Besides those other events. Should I continue with the?
Until March.
Yeah. Good point.
Well,
And this one completes the holiday events as they relate to the parks, and
Well, there's also a 3x3, 3-on-3, I should say, basketball toy drive. That's gonna be done, and that's gonna be at the John Balls, which is right there by North Central Park on the other, by the
North side.
north side, over there by the Walmart area. And the fee is gonna be 2 unwrapped toys per participant, or $20 donation.
Participant, businessman. Partic or delegate. Am I seeing it wrong?
Yeah, I see it.
Good boy, Rudy.
any questions on any of the scheduled events?
I can't even see that far.
And do we proceed to number number 2, with the vandalism report.
Yeah, I can.
So, moving on, number 2 is the vandalism expense report to include current and past 2 years. And Mr. Milan will be making that presentation. I know that under staff reports, under item number 2, it's been, is this one? It's been added, so it's on here.
It's 3 years.
Go ahead, Mr. Milan.
Basically, our vandalism year goes from October to October, from one year to the next. So in October fiscal year 2018, 2019, the total amount was, I believe, 33,000. And expenses on vandalism that we know of, basically, because there's a lot of little things that guys, they fixed on their own, and guys on the field, and they take care of it themselves. But also, it was, I'm not sure, this was, what we do is we sit down with Parks Police, and we discuss the fiscal year, and we compare notes on what they have vandalized in the parks in our area, and what they check out themselves compared to what we have in case we miss something, or in case they miss something. We'll share each other the information. And we go through the numbers, and this is the numbers that we come out with. That fiscal year 2018, 2019, it was 33,000. And then we start going into the COVID year, and everything slows down. People are not going to the parks, playgrounds are closed, so, vandalism goes down to 31,000. And then, which is good in a way, because usually during regular years, regular hour time, before COVID, we were averaging somewhere between $40,000 to $60,000 on vandalism in 1 year.
Is this spread out, or are any parks, have a high concentration of vandalism?
We, about a couple of years ago, I did a map and everything, and tried to pinpoint every location along with PD and their help, and there was pins all over the map. So it's not necessarily one area, it's throughout, and people always say, well, south side, no, north side, the same way, central, it's all the same.
I know there's too many parks to obviously have patrol out there, but does LPD have anyone assigned to the park?
PD has, they have park police, there's like
3-4 officers that are, right?
4 to 5, depending on,
For the whole city?
for the whole city, and they,
How do y'all keep track of like say vandalize a park, right?
Mhm.
How do y'all go about it? Do y'all have to get like an incident report from PD or?
Yeah, what we do is, if PD, say for instance, they're out there right now, our guys aren't, but if something happens overnight, they might call us depending on the extent of damage. They'll call either the director or.
Who's the complainant on these calls? Like, who's the one that reports them? PD themselves when they see the
Park
damages?
police are, the park police
I
are.
mean, like they'll see it and you know what?
Yeah, they have their guys out there, and when they see or somebody calls PD at that time and say, hey, there's a incident that they just vandalized one of the.
They spray painted the
parks,
walls or whatever, yeah.
Or our staff will in the
When-
morning
when
when they report
they're-
to work.
If they're
Oh, okay,
caught,
the crew that goes and cleans it.
At night, 10 minutes.
if they're caught, they get a ticket or a citation, or even an
Damage.
and then they're prosecuted through the municipal court, or would that fall?
Depends on the damage, it could be a class B, class A, could be a
Yeah,
citation.
$50 less,
Yeah.
they're gonna give them a fine, they're gonna give them a ticket.
Citation.
$50 ya para arriba, pues it keeps
Yeah,
on going
so
up.
it- yeah.
$10,000 thing, it's gonna be a stage of felony or felony 3.
Yeah, and I think that we just need to, talk about that as well, because, it ends up in the courts, and that these kids need to understand that, that they're vandalizing.
Does the city have insurance?
They need to do something
to
about
recover?
it, because they're not gonna have.
Yeah.
On parks, yes, I believe they do, right?
That seems super.
How,
Insurance.
We do have insurance, but it has to be a certain amount before we can cover it.
3,000.
those are expensive too. Like how many people have we prosecuted? Do we usually, I think it's tough to find who.
There's cameras, no, there's cameras on some
There's
parts?
some cameras, a certain amount, the exact number of people being prosecuted, it's usually kids or younger.
So they're minors.
Just
I visited the
within hours.
real time center at the PD's headquarters. They have some parks that they are monitoring in real time. And of course, there are the larger parks. Probably, I know for sure the Mines Road area one, and of course, probably because of the proximity to the border, Slaughter Park. I'm not sure if North Central is on there as well.
Not in real time, we do have some cameras out there.
But I think that eventually if no police is gonna, if it's not gonna be extended to add more police presence, which we also have constables helping out or the Port Patrol or stuff like that. But in the investment in long-term cameras, so it can be monitored at least through the real-time.
And the parks that are getting a lot bigger, and there's all different angles that even the camera can't catch. It has to be.
tough.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, I'm sure there's a lot of vandalism in restrooms and can't have cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a shame.
probably one of the main focuses for vandalism is the restrooms.
I'm guessing it's at nighttime more? Más de
At
noche, ¿verdad?
nighttime, but we've had incidents where they burnt down
Yeah.
trash cans and everything right after school,
Ah, bueno.
right after the school hours. I guess they just walk through the park or they come by the park and
Flick a cigarette in there, man, that's all you need.
but it has, I mean, during the day, we've had people try to take apart our aluminum benches, remember? They took away, I'll give you an example, this individual, he was on a bicycle, a two-wheel bicycle. And somehow, some way, he had a tool, I guess, and he took off the top of the aluminum bench, put it under his arm, and he's riding down Zapata Highway.
Go to
Are you serious? You got busted?
He got busted because the guy woke
Goddamn, can't miss that, bro.
That busy,
called PD and said, I think there's something here.
Something's going on.
And the guy, police asked him where he got it, he goes, oh, I found it. Yeah, in the park.
Do you have surveillance cameras in some of the parks?
There are, ma'am, but again, there's not every park has cameras, and even the parks that do, not every camera can catch different angles.
Right, but you just hope that maybe it would be a deterrent if somebody saw the camera.
Yeah, well, in certain parks, we've had them, and then after a while, we had to put cages, like something in front of them.
bust the cameras and,
Yeah,
Well-
so that they,
So we put them higher, and so from there, they would shoot at them with BB guns or.
We hope it.
And I think, something to consider down the road is to really push for PD to have a bigger presence at parks. Not that they don't now, but a bigger presence would deter all of this and the investment into having a budget for vandalism. The other one would be creating some kind of program where you have student park rangers or some kind of thing that, to encourage kids to be part of taking care of the parks. And report it or something and have, these individuals or these younger kids, be out there and being involved in the parks in some way like
The
that.
parks had, prior to COVID, Parks had a youth committee,
Oh, yeah.
and they were pretty strong, and they would do PSAs for us. They would come on public access at that time, promoting parks, taking care of the parks, English and Spanish. They'll do presentations with us at schools. If we were in their school, they would help us out. And they'll come to our events, they'll help out in the events, give out things at the same time, promoting parks and helping pass out flyers, whatever. And they were very, very helpful and everything. And it's just, it's the thing that people keep saying and is that kids get bored because there's nothing to do. And I go, we have over 100 parks in the city of Laredo. There's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
You just gotta go and do it.
What about connecting, what about connecting with like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts and?
We've had Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts have been participating with us. Crime Stoppers has participated with us. Constables have participated with us. City community, the police department's community relations group have been participating with us. Sheriff's Department have participated. So we've had partners in various different areas. We've had various groups that have come out and helped us. And, bottom line is when the kids get home and the parents say, not my kid, you wouldn't do that.
And I
It's
hate
out of
saying
control,
this.
man. I mean, the kids go home and, muchos papás, they can't deal with the kids, their own kids.
And I hate saying this,
I
but
would see it every day,
sometimes
man. I mean, it's hard.
part of doing business is gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
that as
well,
an
I
out,
mean,
but
to the benefit of the Parks Department, I think that when I first started here, at least through my first year when I became part of the board, I asked for a report like this, and it was upwards of 80,000, 90,000, almost 100,000. So it's gone down.
A year?
That's how much they were spending at that time.
Yeah, we've had as much as
Yeah, those are
90,000
years.
since I've been on.
Years.
So it's gone down. So on the positive side, it's
Big difference.
it's a big difference.
It's different.
Wow.
But that's great that the kids get involved already.
I mean, now that things are getting back to normal and hopefully, the summer is usually the toughest part for our department.
Yeah.
That's when vandalism spikes, and that's when our youth committee would help us out a lot. And during those summer camps, when we have them, we would also be pushing it and taking care of our parks, and then we'll have Parks and Rec Month, and we'll be pushing it through there too.
And I think that by summertime, we'll come up with some suggestions as a board that we can, how we can help as well, and then present them to staff, just how we can proceed. Any questions in regards to the vandalism expense report provided by the park staff? Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Milan, for that presentation.
Thank you.
And
thank you, sir.
we'll move over to number 3, the league requirements, and it's under item number 3, the tab, the league requirements checklist has been provided by park staff and will be presented. Ms. Dunn?
I will, this is real brief. As you know, we operate leagues out of our department, and years ago, council directed us to ensure that several things were in place for the safety and protection of the children. One of those, first and foremost, was insurance. Make sure that there was insurance provided for the kids participating in case, they did need it. And so the leagues have been very good, for the most part, in providing all this information, background checks, affiliation, 501c3. But one of the things that we wanted to expand on is 501c3 status locally. So it was important for us to ensure that those league presidents who were running a league had a 501c3 status had it locally because we require affiliation. So what was happening is we were getting 501c3 status from like your corporate.
Right.
You know, whether it be Pony corporate, you know, but Pony also has their local.
Yes.
And so a lot of the teams, a lot of the leagues do have your local, but there were some that didn't, and we didn't mandate it. We just required a 501c3. So what we asked for is if you are charging, obviously every league is for the players, the children, then you have to have a 501c3 local. And so that's one of the changes that we made. The other one is requesting a Form 990, which is requested by the IRS, and it's an informational return. So this is checks and balances, if you will, that was integrated into the league requirements checklist.
What are the benefits of the local 501c3?
If you have a corporate or a general from the affiliate, they don't request your funds. They don't request a reporting of your funds. And so this way, we have a local 501c3, then we are asking for your financial records. And so,
For transparency?
I'm sorry,
For transparency
exactly,
purposes?
exactly.
It seems that it's more in line with the third-party funding requirements, right? For the nonprofits here locally?
Yes, sir. It's for a checks and balances purpose, you know. We all feel and believe that somebody comes to us and says, I'm a nonprofit, I'm in it for the kids, I'm in it for, you know, what have you. And we believe you. We want to believe you. And so this just, it's a checks and balances system to make sure that, that it remains like that. So these are the two changes, the main changes that were made to the league requirements.
Does the city have someone that goes out and check, you know, these leagues once in a while, or, I know it's
Checks and balances.
for some of these things, I mean, I know.
When they register with you guys, they have to show.
They have to,
Right.
before the contract goes to legal, they have to submit all these documents.
Right.
And as they get additional coaches and additional players and what have you, because you register with a certain number of players. And so as your teams grow, because they will grow over the first month or two, what have you, as you get more players and then more volunteers and
Right.
coaches, then additional information is required, and we'll know that because they're gonna need additional fields to play.
Right.
Because the fields are delegated based on how many number of kids you have playing.
I mean, I'll just give an example, like, I've been out there by, was it Ana Street, Maldonado, Lee, or whatever it's called.
Anna Park.
I mean, he seems to run the concession stand, he's the president, he's the director,
Oh.
he's everything. I mean, so I don't even know if he's in compliance with all that
Mr.
stuff.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
This is the first year that we have the local 501c3 requirement,
But west side.
and so we will ensure.
Has the building on Bartlett, on Saunders. No se hace Saunders y luego se hace.
Texas? No.
In
Lafayette.
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 And
Oh, okay.
across the bridge.
I know,
Oh,
cause
okay.
I know people that play,
La Colonia ahí.
the charges per game.
It's right there.
I mean,
It's right
there's
there in
just,
the back.
It's a money maker.
Wild Wild
for-
West. Mhm.
Yeah, but they're not, but you're not, they're not controlling the finances.
No, we would just control and ensure that you are 501c3 local, and we ask to see the financials, and you need to have a reporting to the IRS.
How they run the park after they, was there a fee associated with
I'm just
that?
saying, if you go out there and see how
Well,
it's
now,
actually.
now we're gonna have to
If you're
pay.
running a league,
Oh, the league.
if you're running a league,
Correct.
right, it's, a contract is entered
And there's
into
the one
with the
who's
league
going and
president,
getting a little more
and the
reach.
contract stipulates
So
that
it's bad.
if you're providing this service to the children, we will not charge you a fee to rent the fields. You will do so, but you will be in compliance with all of
Okay.
this.
So who's the one that goes out and checks? JJ? Coach?
Personally,
He does?
he does, he has. We've got staff, we've got night staff, and, you know, our parks crews who are on evenings. We've got 4 gentlemen, I think 2 in the north, 2 in the south, and they go to check, you know, they're not specifically checking for paperwork and stuff. This is done in the office, but they are making sure that,
That everything's running smoothly.
as well as you can,
Yeah. It's hard.
you
I
know,
mean,
if you're eyeballing.
he can have all this, but it doesn't mean he's reporting or doing the back end stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Does anybody check on that, another city department?
But there's no
There's no
There's no
police.
jurisdiction.
There's no police, they don't have to show you anything.
Yeah, there's no jurisdiction. Right.
But if the coach or the president is doing something, then I would think that the parents
Yeah.
would look for somebody else to play, another team to play on, wouldn't you?
They're winning time.
Yeah, it's because it's hard, because you belong to that league, you know, and you can't go play for someone else, like if you're only on the boundaries, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like.
Well, there are some leagues that don't have boundaries.
But you're saying, like, you're seeing a bunch of money being made that's.
Well, I don't know, it's just, I
Yeah.
don't think they're following this.
Well, I'll give you an example, like, when we used to have Border Fest. We used to have Border Fest at the Civic Center. The city never gave up control of where they sold the beer.
But no. Well, that's the biggest money maker there.
To use the facility,
Correct.
like my school, but I'm from the school.
Yeah.
I'm really
Runs the concession and the parking lot. And don't tell them about charging for parking, right? Because they're not just that.
Right? Yeah, there's certain requirements that, that need to be met in order for an entity to use a public facility free of charge. So, and that needs to go through our legal department.
Cool.
But the contracts have all gone through legal. and-
So I guess the question would be, once it gets to legal, are they verifying that 501c3 status was with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
state?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's outside of Parks and Rec, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. On
That's legal.
all our contracts that we do,
You pass them on to.
it is
someone else to
verified.
check.
Actually, staff just learned how to do that.
Okay.
Because we had a concern on, we were given information, and so we went through finding out it was in the process. And it didn't have status that
Finalization.
moment, exactly.
And has this alleviated the problem of people, leagues showing up, hey, I have like my game on Saturday at 10 a.m. and then the leagues would show up, and then there was a group of individuals there that had, you know, that
Like
had.
scheduling
Yeah, like,
conflicts?
does this alleviate the scheduling conflicts?
Absolutely, because the teams know. We do have situations every now and then. If the lights go out at one field and they're supposed to play a game and they're playing they're practicing on another, you know, we will get involved to, all right, they need to get this game out of the way, let them play it on the field because the light just went out, it's, you know,
Yeah.
what have you. And so we do have that. But for the most part, with this and all the requirements that we have implemented over the last few years, we didn't have any of this. There was a contract and that was it. The contract that just said, you know, you're coming to our city, you're gonna provide a service to the community, you're gonna help these kids grow, and here's our fields, you know, help the kids grow. And so now, there's backgrounds, there's insurance, there's 501c3, there's, you know, show us your rosters, we wanna see your rosters, which has all the names of the kids and addresses and what have you. And so as much as we can, we verify it in that way. You know, whether we're knocking on doors, no, we're not, you know.
Not police, I mean, there's.
Right, so we're trying to put everything into place so that what you tell us reflects on the paperwork that you're giving us. And so we are checking it as much as we can. As I said, we are checking the 501c3. The financial is gonna have to be reported through the IRS, and so we're trying to tighten it up as much as we can.
Are the leagues responsible for maintenance when they have, I guess, use of the fields?
Yes and no. Park still has maintenance of the fields, and so we will do it, because we still have to maintain the grass in the area around, all right? So what we'll do is if the crew is scheduled to be there that day to maintain the outer area of the park, they will do the fields. We won't go specifically to do the fields. We'll also stripe it, because staff is also there, we'll stripe it at the beginning of the day. And so we take care of it for the teams.
And this still falls under Parks and Rec employees, I guess, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but not to the extent that it did before.
How was it before, I mean,
At one time, the park staff used to do it all the time, 5 days a week, for all teams, all the time. The contract enabled us to stipulate, you need to maintain, you need to police your parents, police your fans, police your space. And so pick up the trash that you and your fans leave. Make sure the area is
The
cleared.
restrooms are clean.
The restrooms are clean. And so this contract now has that language in it. And so when we have issues with the team, we can come back and, hey, you know, this section you're supposed to be maintaining. Or we would, hey, the bathrooms are dirty. Look up who played last night.
Yeah.
You all are supposed to have kept the bathrooms up. So it gives you a little bit more stability with the contract. And so before, you really didn't have that.
Could the league lose their rights if they didn't follow the contract?
Yes, it can, because in the contract, there is a termination clause. And so if there's enough justification for the Parks Department, I'm sure that we could speak with the legal department, the city manager's office, and start that discussion.
I marked and cleaned the trash for years there at Gateway Girls Softball. Not the restrooms part, but I would marcaba el parque, I would mark the 2-3 fields, and I would clean the trash afterwards. I did it for a couple of years, all week. Like I would get out of work and I would go over there and just help my wife because my sweater was running the week, Mr. Mancha.
Yeah, but how much did you make off the concession?
I didn't charge that, sir. Go in there. No. Don't get me involved with it, please. Don't get me going.
What about the parking? Was there a charge for parking?
No, todos se parqueaban en la tierra.
Yeah.
Like, there was no.
Ahí estaba el taco con una toallita así, pásale como no Laredo.
Pero no, it's hard, man. It's now I know. I think the guys go there and they stripe and clean and all that stuff.
We do, like I said, when they're scheduled to go. We don't go there specifically too, but it's, you know, we are a department that is here to enhance the quality of life. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We work hard so others can play, but we enjoy what we're doing.
And get there and then everything be ready, you know. You get there and everything's marked, the
Right.
field, the grass is cut, nice and clean, you know.
And it's interesting, you do that,
It's fun.
300 times, and the 301st time you don't do it because somebody called
It's
in
your
sick.
fault.
Yeah.
That
No,
301st time. but
Are you also
correct.
helping with, I mean, change the subject, with vaccines and
Actually, we have a.
at vaccination sites?
We have, not vaccination sites, we did have them at the parks, but we had a center, at Haynes.
The Fusion Center,
Oh, that's where it was?
The infusion center was operating out of Haynes and took most of the year. We just received
As of
word
today,
this
right?
morning
Yeah.
that it was going to be closing effective.
This Friday.
Infusion center is to close on the 19th. They are going to mobilize and be out by the 29th. We will be opening on December 6th, Haynes Rec Center. So it's been closed for some time through the,
¿Esa pa' qué era, güey? ¿Por la booster?
I was asking if they're still helping out with the vaccination
Immunizations.
shots and stuff.
no, what we were doing at one point was they were doing them in our parks.
Right, right.
So we
Yeah.
can close this item up. Any other questions in regards to league requirements? Ms. Gentry?
So, I'm sorry, just a quick question. So you gave the example of Gateway League. So these are leagues that rent from you, not private individuals that have like elite teams? Or is it both?
I don't know how, I mean,
I think
Any
it,
league, right? That's
yeah,
any
it
league.
can be.
If you're just
that's
instructed
just
by the
so-
1C3.
Correct. Because it would be cool if you wanted to delve into that and create that type of a team, you can certainly do that within your entity itself, as long as you met all these other requirements, because for the most part, what you're doing is providing a service to the community and to our children. So if you wanted, if you had a certain group of children who were superstars, and you wanted to take them to either a traveling team or to a higher level, then you can certainly do so.
Use the facilities to practice.
Exactly, because within that, you also, you know, you need all these other points, and there's other teams that are not on the traveling team.
Right.
So,
What about the volleyball teams also that are, in regards to the rec center? I know that we've addressed the ones with the fields, softball or baseball. What about the
I'm
sports?
sorry, real quick, I have to go, my daughter has a basketball game in 20 minutes.
speaking of basketball.
Speaking of basketball, yes.
Just to go
Uh,
put the.
I have to go start charging for the parking. No.
The cheese is not hot.
It's at the school, it's a school, but quorum still.
Yeah, we have a quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a quorum.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Nunes.
excuse me.
As long as we don't acknowledge you left, we're in quorum.
Or
We're in a
unless
Robert
you have any
Rules of Order.
suggestions briefly on any items for next meeting, or if you wanna send them over? If you think of anything.
I have a question about the volleyball.
Mr. Lara,
Yes.
can we have my binder back, our binder back?
I don't know why we're looking out with
Homework, homework, yeah, homework.
Whenever.
We had a question in regards to the volleyball or any sport, any league that can play in rec centers, a basketball team. Is there any leagues currently that are requesting to use rec centers?
We have not started our leagues yet. We just recently opened up the rec centers, and so boxing is one of the sports that we're still not putting out yet, and that's at Canizales, Cigarroa, and Marcos Aranda. We have not initiated boxing yet, so we're trying to stay away from the
Close contact.
exactly.
Sports.
Oh, okay.
So we're trying to. We have open basketball that we've started already, and that seems to be going well. We have some high schoolers or 20-somethings who are asking if they can play with, yes, so we're trying to minimize the face-to-face contact.
Close.
So not yet,
Yeah.
close contact, thank you, not yet.
I've traveled recently through Market and seen the tennis courts there. Busy.
But,
It's packed.
yes,
Every single court is being utilized.
yes,
And it's great. I mean, it's a part of town where you see, at least that some of the parents are walking around and the kids are playing tennis. I know that I saw there was an instructor there that was showing, some of the kids play tennis or anything. I mean, for them to be utilized, that's really good. Yeah.
they are packed most nights,
Being put to use.
yes, and so it's really good to see that.
Because for a long time, I don't know if it has been consistent, but I think that for a long time, if they had been utilized that much, or
You
I've
mean
been
during
here since, like, high
COVID
school.
or?
No,
Oh,
just
okay, just in
before.
general?
Yeah,
It's growing. It's-
Always see
Yeah,
people.
always, except of course during the dead time of the day, 1 to 3 or 4 o'clock in the
Hot time.
afternoon, yeah. Tennis shoes
Yeah.
melting time.
yeah.
But I have definitely seen a growth in the desire for people to play tennis there. But we are incorporating, we're gonna start incorporating pickleball. So we've had a lot of people ask us for pickleball. You know what that is?
No, I
It's a
don't.
form of tennis. It's a smaller court, and a lot of our
Are we gonna build up?
mature generation like this because
Of course.
it's on a smaller court. So imagine, if you will, tennis. This would be your first court, your first line. Then you would have another line. Pickleball, this is your line. Of course, to scale. And so you have 4 people. So it's kind of like a mixture of backgammon. Badminton, thank you. I'm thinking of backgammon and badminton at the same time. So badminton and tennis, a little bit of foursquare. So you just play.
Just to make sure of like the sports, the two sports.
Exactly. And so you're closer, you still have the racket. You can allow it to bounce or not, and you can do it back and forth. But there's less running, so it's less of a stress on the joints. And so we have a lot of our more mature population who is asking us to incorporate this sport. So we're gonna do it first at Market with the 2 practice courts that we have in the back where the wall is. So we're gonna reline those to still allow people to hit against
Do
the
either.
wall, yeah, and put a fence there, and also to play pickleball, and then see if that goes well, and if so, we'll move it to Nixon. We've got some courts at Nixon, so we'll try to incorporate it there, so. Try something
That's
new.
nice.
Yeah, bringing in
wouldn't
your
mind.
sport.
Not too much movement.
Anything else on the league requirements? Anything? No. So, it's not an action item, so isn't requiring any action. But moving over to bullet point number 8, items for next meeting. Board members, would you all have any suggestions or anything that you'd like to present to the board next time we meet? In December, for Tomas?
What date is that? Do we have a date?
So it's December, it's up in the air, right, to see if we're meeting or not, or is it that we are meeting?
We do have, the board does have the ability to move the date if we need to.
So it,
I will not be here on the 15th. And so, I mean, I know because we need quorum, so I already know, so I'm asking already.
It would actually be on the 8th of December, that's the second Wednesday.
I'm here on the 8th.
That sounds good to me.
so next meeting would be December 8th, but if we have a meeting, would you all have anything y'all want to discuss?
Could we be provided, I know I walked in as they were going over it with different events happening.
Yes.
For Christmas, so perhaps we could go.
An update of
Like tree
this,
lightings, or if there's like a kickoff to this, maybe it would be nice for us to
an
attend.
update on
As
the
board
events,
members.
on the events for December.
Yep, we can definitely do
Kind of like
that.
these banners that you gave us
What's
right now.
What's also the status on those shirts?
Thank you for asking.
No, I'm just.
No. Thank you for asking, because the thing is, they had a back,
Yes.
and certain sizes, and I said, okay. So in order not to change the color or the style, some of them would be different. So I said, let's wait, and the date would be January.
You're out in California in the Bay.
They're gonna make us wait.
Oh, that's why I was just asking, yeah.
They're the containers.
The other one is, I've reached out to staff regarding this, it was scheduled for last month, the groundbreaking for the sports complex. I don't know if it's been moved to another date.
It has been, to be announced.
Okay, so if the staff can be, the board can be let know of those, of that date. I know that most of the members here have not visited the sports complex in the South Florida Sports Complex. And it'd be nice that as board that they have the opportunity to be able to be there and see that.
Ms. Landine is responsible for sending our board members with notifications of any event, and we will make sure that you all have.
On December 6th, council will be meeting for the last meeting, I think, of the year, or something like that. But anyways, they're gonna discuss the sports complex and that date.
So that's, and then we're meeting 2 days after that. So we'll have,
We'll have the date.
We'll have
a date.
Well, if not the date, some information on the sports
Okay.
complex. So I don't know what's gonna be discussed, but they're gonna discuss the sports complex.
Okay.
What's the status on the MOU with Laredo College and their facilities?
It is still in their court, and I know that they initiated discussions with regard to perhaps implementing their sport program.
And then it was put on hold again.
Yes. So there,
It's on
I think they put it on hold primarily to see where that was going. So I know that we have reached out.
Probably wouldn't sign an MOU if they don't know what they're going to do.
You know, I'm thinking we've even done, period, time-specific MOUs. And you can do one for like 6 months. We just won't invest in the upgrades, if you will, because the initial negotiation was we would go in there And,
Modify that.
yeah, improve, because there was some areas like the pouring case, there was like 200 feet that just didn't connect, you know, and so that was one of the things that they had asked us, things like that. And, okay, that batting cage needs to be redone, and this field needs to be graded and leveled and be built back, you know, these are some of the things that we were, you know, negotiating. But since this is still up in the air for them, and it's not a done deal, you know, that's definitely something that we can see if they want to discuss, you know, at least, because there was monetary exchange.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
With
So,
your school, Ms. Gentry, is that also something that has been
So-
worked in the past?
So we
At
used to have our summer games at LC South,
Okay.
and then last year they didn't, well, they weren't using them, but they said, no, we're not maintaining them because of pandemic, so we couldn't use them. So we went to Slaughter where we'd been before, and where we practiced, and I was there last night, it was very nice. A very nice evening, lots of people out.
I hear, I don't live
Police
far from there,
presence,
so
yeah.
I hear all the shouts and the
Mhm.
claps and stuff. I live north, I live across from the tennis courts,
Okay.
so I can
It's right there,
hear,
you can hear both.
Yes.
That's nice.
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable, next to the crickets, not the crickets.
So, I need to take notes on for the next meeting. The bullet point number 9, adjournment of the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a motion?
Second.
To adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? None, motion carries, we are adjourned. The time is 6:51.
Thank you all.